Such medicinal pills. There are actually such medicinal pills in the world. Shin-sun took a deep breath. His gaze looking at Hushi was no longer simply awe, but they were rather complicated. Such a shockingly brilliant boy was definitely not their Qingxia sect could contain. Or even this Miluo continent. Shiyu, this medicinal pills, can our Shin family buy them? Of course. Hushi did not hesitate. You can contact Gu Lufeng if you need to buy. He will be responsible for setting the market volume and the price of medicinal pills. I will let him give a cheaper price for the Shen family. As soon as Hushi thought that she still had to support Ouyang Zhixiong's entire 100,000 armies, she instantly felt stress. One could never say that he had too much crystal stone. Hearing Gu Lufeng's name, Shen Qingchua couldn't help but pursed her mouth and asked, "Brother Shiyu, is that Gu Lufeng really your brother? Do you know why he wears a mask every day? I let him take it off, but he was unwilling to take it down. I hate him the most." Hushi shook her head and smiled. Lufeng naturally has his reason to wear a mask. Little girl, stop the nonsense. Shin-sun knocked on his niece's little head. I let you stay with me, but it isn't for you to mess with Master Gu and Shiyu. If you cause more trouble again, I will send you back home. Shin Qingchua immediately looked dejected. Her eyes were full of indignation. But then she couldn't help but look at Hushi. Brother Shiyu, do you know where Gu Lufeng went today? I've searched Xingda Hall all over, but I can't find him. This bad guy said that my technique is bad yesterday. I practiced well after I went back last night. Today, I have to let him say that I did well. Hushi thought for a while and said, if he is not in Xingda Hall, he may be in Virtue Home. Although Virtue Home was left to Zhou Yanan to take care of, it was founded by Gu Lufeng after all, and Gu Lufeng liked all the children who had similar experiences with him. Plus now Gu Yulan and Gu Yidao lived there, so as long as he was free, he would go there often. Seeing the back of the little niece hurried out as soon as she got the Virtue Home address, Shin-sun couldn't help but shook his head. He glanced at Hushi. This Shiyu is really outstanding. I am afraid that my little niece is not worthy of him. Fortunately, Chua Er holds back her thought before it develops into love. Otherwise she must be really sad. However, the young man named Gu Lufeng is not bad. He is at the gold core stage at a young age. In addition, he has a friend and master like Shiyu. His future achievements are definitely unlimited. Shin-sen's thoughts could not help but drift away. At this time, Shin Qingchua hastily arrived at Virtue Home. She hurriedly pushed open the door. As she was just about to shout Gu Liufeng's name, she was immediately stunned by the scene in front of her. The tall, slender Gu Lufeng was squatting on the ground at this moment. A little girl with a croissant lay on his back and giggled. In front of him stood a 6 or 7-year-old boy, who was making gestures with excitement while he was talking to Gu Lufeng. As he was jumping around, suddenly the boy's hand hit Gu Liufeng's face. The mask that had covered up his face fell down, revealing a clear and enchanting look. It was just that on this near-perfect face, there was a long red scar which looked hideous and sad under the sun. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Gu Liufeng's mask was knocked off by the child, but he was not annoyed. Instead, he showed a gentle smile. Shin Qingchua stood blankly at the door, looking at Gu Liufeng's face. For a time it seemed like she was infatuated. She never thought about the man, who quarreled with her every day and was rejected by her, actually had such a handsome face that wasn't inferior to that of brother Shiyu. Even for the scarlet scar, Shin Qingchua didn't find it ugly at all. She just felt that it had added a bit of charm that made her heart palpitating. It was early in the morning when Song Mountain's foot was still sparsely populated, and the spirit was barren. Naylan Ziyun stood in front of the plain old courtyard with disgust on his face. This was the first time he had set foot in this courtyard where Naylan Hushi lived. He knew at a very young age that he had a twin sister, Naylan Hushi. But this sister's talents were different from his. Naylan Hushi looked ugly, and her body wasn't suitable to cultivate at all. When he was a child, before Naylan Ziyun studied art at the Qixing Palace, he had been ridiculed by people due to his useless twin sister. Naylan Ziyun, You and the ugly woman are born to the same concubine. So disgusting. Yeah, even I feel ashamed to die to have such a useless sister. We don't play with him. What if we get infected by his sister? Nalan Ziyun was angry and hateful at that time. He often couldn't help cursing his ugly sister to die. Especially once he hid in the room, he heard that ugly woman ran over with a weepy face and said that she wanted to see his brother. Nalan Ziyun still remembered that after Nalan Hushi was chased back to the courtyard, the group of people discussed her with the expression full of contempt and disgust. Even he was being looked at with a peculiar gaze. This situation was getting better until Nalan Ziyun went to learn at the Qixing Palace, and Nalan Hushi was thrown into the courtyard to let her perish on herself. But as soon as he thought that this woman was still alive, and he would be ridiculed when he got home, Nalan Ziyun felt disgusted. He wanted to find someone to secretly murder this ugly sister, but his father would never allow anyone to kill Nalan Hushi. Nalan Ziyun was very respectful and afraid of this father. How dare he violate him? So in the end he came up with a strategy of 2 birds with 1 stone. Nalan Ziyun knew that Nalan Feishua liked the prince, and that Nalan Feishua was arrogant and jealous. She hated Nalan Hushi to her bone. So he set up a trap to make Nalan Feishua think that the prince fell in love with Nalan Hushi's special physique, which was good for cultivation. Nalan Feishua had been longing to be able to marry the prince. How could she let Nalan Hushi hook up with the prince? By the time when Nalan Feishua killed Nalan Hushi, it had nothing to do with him. Nalan Ziyun thought well. He thought he would definitely not see Nalan Hushi when he came back this time. But who knows? On the first day of his return to his house, his father asked him to pick up the waste from Nalan Hushi, and said that his sister and his brother should be close. To make him close to the ugly woman, Nalan Ziyun really feels disgusting when he dreams. And the useless waste of Nalan Feishua, who didn't kill Nalan Hushi for so long, it was a waste of his good strategy. But I remembered the boy I met on Breaking Spirit Mountain. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Ziyun could not help but frown. Maybe it wasn't that Nalan Feishua was useless, but someone saved Nalan Hushi. That person was probably Shiyu. When thinking of Shiyu, Nalan Ziyun gritted his teeth. The bastard put shame on me in front of the prince and my fellow apprentices. One day, I will certainly make the boy pay the price. At this time, Nalan Ziyun's manservant had stepped forward to knock on the door. A maid dressed in plain clothes opened the door. As soon as Nalan Ziyun's manservant saw her, he said arrogantly, "Why are you so slow? Step aside quickly. Let our young master go in and ask Third Miss to hurry out and greet him." But the maid was unmoved. She just looked at them coldly. "Who are you?" "Hey, little maid, do you understand the rules? You don't even know us?" The manservant was immediately ashamed into anger. "Look clearly, we are the people of Nalan family. The man behind me is Nalan Mansion's young master. You stop dilly-dallying blocking my young master. Do you still want to work here? Oh, you are from the Nalan Mansion." That girl showed a meaningful expression. Then she shut the door heavily. A cold voice came from behind the door. "Wait, I will inform Mississippi." The manservant's nose was crooked when the door was suddenly closed, covering his face while snorting. Nalan Ziyun sneered. Nalan Hushi really regards herself as Mississippi. She is just a useless waste. She even dares to make me wait. Thinking of this, Nalan Ziyun raised his foot and stomped on the door. The door cracked and collapsed, and Nalan Ziyun strode in with a sneer of disdain. The manservant also endured the pain and walked behind Nalan Ziyun with an arrogant face. He couldn't help shouting, "Where is the mammy and butler who are in charge of the courtyard? Master and madam instructed you to take care of the Third Mississippi. Is this how you all do things? Since when can a little maid show her angry face to our young master?" Before the manservant finished speaking, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his waist and legs. He shouted, "Ai-yo!" Then he staggered and fell to the ground with his head down. Nalan Ziyun, who was in front of him, also made the same pose. The two were originally dressed nicely, but the courtyard was muddy. Although the place was cleaned, there was still a lot of dust. After the fall, Nalan Ziyun and his manservant suddenly fell with their face eating the mud. The two stood up quickly. Although they didn't suffer any injuries, their disgraced faces really look embarrassing. Nalan Ziyun was full of anger. As he was about to get rage, he heard a woman's cold voice from the front. "Mrs. in the backyard. Come in then." It was a woman with a cold look and sharp eyes, but her features were not so obvious. Although she was dressed as a maid, and her cultivation couldn't be seen clearly, the fierce vibe seemed to be released from her bone, making Nalan Ziyun chill. Nalan Ziyun gritted his teeth and followed behind the maid. He wanted to see what Nalan Hushi wanted to do. As soon as he entered the backyard, he saw a slim girl sitting in front of the hall and drinking tea leisurely. She wore the plainest clothes without any accessories on her head. It made her yellowish face and puffy eyelids look even more down. Nalan Ziyun immediately showed a disgusted expression. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Hushi was still the ugly look in his impression which made him sick. Such a woman is actually my own sister. Why is God so unfair to me? However, remembering his father's request to him, Nalan Ziyun still suppressed his tumultuous emotions. He took a step forward and politely said, "Third sister, long time no see, how have you been?" Hushi raised her eyebrows and looked at him with an ambiguous smile. "Who are you? Why do you act familiar to me?" Nalan Ziyun was stunned slightly. His heart slightly palpitated as he looked into the dark and clear eyes. He had an illusion like he was being stared at by a powerful magical beast or martial artist. He even felt a chill down his spine. But immediately he could see clearly the face of the person in front of him. It was still the yellowish and ugly face. How powerful could she be? Nalan Ziyun was ashamed into anger for a while, but he still patiently said, "Third sister, have you forgotten? I am Ziyun. We are born to the same mother. When you were a child, you often came to Nalan Mansion to find me." Hushi could not help but chuckle softly. "Oh, it turns out to be Ziyun. Since you also know that I used to go to you when I was a kid, do you think I'm staying here well? My dear brother." Nalan Ziyun was astounded. He glanced at the shabby furnishings around the courtyard. Then he immediately showed an ashamed expression. "Sister, I'm sorry. I was sent to Qixing Palace to learn martial art when I was very young. I don't know how have you been. I thought you still live a luxurious life in the courtyard and being treated as the third miss. I didn't expect this place to be so simple. If I knew that my sister was living a miserable life here, I would definitely come back early so my sister will not have to suffer anymore." With that said, Nalan Ziyun couldn't help but step forward and said sincerely, "But sister doesn't have to worry anymore. I have persuaded father. Today, sister will return to Nalan Mansion. From then on, my sister will be able to live a luxurious life." Hushi raised her eyebrows slightly. Her deep eyes looked around Nalan Ziyun's face, then she smiled slowly. "Oh, since that is the case, thank you, brother." "Sister, you are willing to go back with me?" "Of course." Hushi raised her head and slowly drank the tea, only then she smiled gently. "Since brother Ziyun comes to pick me up, how can I not go back? After all, Nalan Mansion is also the place where I have to go back." Nalan Ziyun breathed a sigh of relief immediately, then his eyes looking at Hushi immediately filled with contempt. This woman really wants to return to Nalan Mansion, but she doesn't know what kind of life is waiting for her at Nalan Mansion. Since my sister has agreed to go back with me, it is better to go back today. Sister can go pack your belongings now. As for the servants in this courtyard, Nalan Ziyun frowned. Then he said coldly, "I see that these maids don't really know how to behave themselves. It's better to sell them out. My sister is going to Nalan Mansion anyway. There are naturally clever and sensible maids to serve my sister." With that, his gaze also glanced at the cold girl next to Hushi. Hushi sneered when she heard the words. Her voice was a bit chilly. "Why? Brother hasn't seen me for decades, and you never care about your sister's life and death. But now you start to manage the maids around me? Since Nalan Mansion can't even keep my maids, then I think I don't go back anymore. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc / the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Ziyun's face was suddenly twisted. He forced a smile for a while. I'm just joking, sister. Sister, of course, can take charge of your own maids. Hushi smiled slightly, then she turned and walked into the hall. Nalan Ziyun stood in the courtyard, staring coldly at the direction which Nalan Hushi disappeared and gritting his teeth. Soon Hushi came out. But unlike Nalan Ziyun's imagination, Hushi did not bring big and small luggage. She took out an ancestral tablet, one instead. Nalan Ziyun felt strange for her holding an ancestral tablet, but when he saw the name on it, his face changed immediately. Enlingyue, my biological mother. But she was a cheap concubine who can make me feel ashamed whenever I think of it. Hushi placed the Enlingyue's tablet on the table respectfully. Then she smiled respectfully at Nalan Ziyun. Brother did not return to the Jinling kingdom for many years, so you naturally can't pray to Mum. Since you are here today, you should lit incense to pray for Mum then. I am the only young master of Nalan Mansion. Why should I pray a cheap concubine? Nalan Ziyun's face was gloomy. He smiled with difficulty. Sister, we should wait until we go back to the Nalan Mansion for this matter. Hushi raised her eyebrows and said faintly, Brother, you refused to pray your birth mother. Are you trying to not recognize your mother? Since you don't even recognize your mother, will your sister still put you in my eyes? Nalan Ziyun's facial features twisted for a while. He finally knelt slowly under Hushi's gaze. That expression was disgusting and embarrassing than swallowing a fly. After kneeling in a hurry and lighting the incense, Nalan Ziyun stood up quickly and said in a cold voice, Hurry and go. After that, without looking at the tablet, he quickly walked out of the courtyard and got into the carriage. Looking at his back, a cold smile appeared on Hushi's mouth. This was an elegant compartment. It was full of jewelry in front of the dresser. A bright color quilt was also prepared on the bed. Hushi sat on a cushioned wicker chair and looked at the furnishings in this room with a smile. The little girl who was preparing the bed in front couldn't help but complain. Miss, why do we want to live in such a place? There are so many rules. It's so annoying. It isn't as comfortable as living in our courtyard. Even if I want to cultivate, I can just go to the secret territory. Before Hushi spoke, another maid who was pouring tea for her whispered, My Xiang, be careful with your words. There might be someone eavesdropping on us. My Xiang immediately covered her mouth and made an ashamed expression. My Xiang, like Mu Dong, is one of the maids bought by Shi-san. She was very smart and liked to inquire about all kinds of news, so Hushi came to Nalan Mansion along with her this time. Hushi smiled. She said as she didn't mind, Relax, no one eavesdrops at this time. Because of the lotus-shaped jade flower given by Nangongyu, now her purple abyss vine has evolved. It could sneak into the ground to ambush and be alert. She could detect when someone was near, not to mention eavesdropping in the vicinity. My Xiang was relieved. She smiled at Hushi and the maid beside her. Miss and Sister Qingwan are really amazing. If I can learn such great skill anytime, it would be great. The maid beside Hushi glanced at Hushi and slightly lowered his eyes, covering the surprise in her eyes. 1 https://en. Wikipedia. org/wiki/spirit_tablet. Please go to https://www. Novel updates. cc/ the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Suddenly, Hushi's awkward voice came into Qingwan's ears. Qingwan, your master. Do you have any news yet? Maid regained her thought and she said quickly, Reply, Miss. Master has sent a message to Wu Xing, saying that he will come to see Miss the latest by this month. And he is safe now. Please don't worry, Mississippi. I can see him this month? Hushi flattened her lips. She couldn't help but complain. Nangongyu, this bastard. We are clearly in love already, but I can't even see him for a few months. How can we build our relationship? As for the little maid with cold gaze by her side, she was also a gold core stage master. Her name was also Zhu K1. In other words, her codename was Suzaku. At King of Hell Mansion, whether it is Qinglong, by Hu Zhu K, Xian Wu, or Wu Xing, Wu Yu Wu Go Wu Nian, they were just a code name. They were selected from countless martial artists of awe-inspiring innate talent. After strict promotion assessment, they finally signed a blood pact with Nan Gongyu and became his confidant. After the original Zhu Ke was imprisoned in Spirit Sealing Prison, a new assessment would begin. Finally, someone would be titled with the codename Zhu Quebec. As soon as the new Zhu Ke passed the assessment, Qinglong immediately sent her to Hushi. The events of Sealed Dragon Domain and Breaking Spirit Mountain made Qinglong deeply aware of what the biggest weak spot of his master was now. The master's power was already too strong, so few people in Miluo continent could hurt the master. However, if someone hurts Miss Naren, he really does not know what would happen once his master gets mad. What's more, the latent cold syndrome of his master, except for Miss Nalen, no one could possibly cure it at all. So instead of protecting his master, it was better to make every effort to protect Miss Naren, so that his master no longer had weaknesses. Since Wu Xing was useless alone, then Zhu Ke would also protect her together. One in the dark, one beside her. This was just right. Hushi was now accustomed to Nan Gongyu arranging someone to protect her. This guy was very strong in possessiveness. If she went against him, who knows what would he do? Because Zhu Ke's name was too conspicuous, Hushi called her Qing Wan on weekdays. Qing Wan grew up in the Death Warrior camp of King of Hell Mansion. She was not originally the most talented person. It was only through her persevering will and strong heart that she stayed to the end and passed the assessment. Qing Wan was very cold-blooded by nature. In her eyes, there was only the command of the master. In her mind, there was only the word obedience. For her, Hushi was just her mission target. She didn't like or dislike her. Her usual expression was mostly cold. It was only when Hushi concealed her gold core stage's cultivation with medicine, she would show some awkward expression. Hushi liked Qing Wan's character very much. She could separate herself from work, which was better than the previous Zhu Quebec. Suddenly, the door was pushed open by force. A maid with a beautiful face, makeup on her face and spiced perfume came into the house and said softly, "Third miss, the young master asked me to take you to meet master and madam." As soon as she entered the room, she saw Hushi sitting on a deck chair with a normal look, and she immediately revealed a look of contempt and pride. This third miss is really ugly. She doesn't have any cultivation. Even I as a maid can't compare with her. No wonder master and madam don't like her. Hushi raised her eyebrow. She said in a low tone, "Oh, why did I hear that madam was sick in bed some time ago? But now she can come out and meet people now." 1 https://en. Wikipedia. org/wiki/vermilion_bird. Please go to https://www. Novel updates. cc/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. That news was long time ago. The maid immediately laughed. Madam was cured a month ago. Now she is waiting to see Third Mississippi. I suggest Third Miss to not drag the time and follow me. Hushi was a little interested in it. The mad-inducing medicine I gave to Mrs. Naren was not very expensive, but it was absolutely effective for martial artists below the foundation establishment stage. Based on the time, Mrs. Nalen should now be crazy now. But she can still see guests now? Really interesting. Thinking of this, Hushi no longer delayed and followed the maid out. The maid was called Xianglan. She was Nalen Ziyun's personal maid. Because of her beautiful appearance, she already considered herself as Nalen Ziyun's concubine. Because she knew Nalen Ziyun hated Hushi, his sister, she was also full of disgust toward Third Mississippi, seeing Hushi assessing the surrounding from time to time when she was walking in the courtyard. She thought Hushi was ignorant and couldn't help but feel more contempt. She smiled as if she was feeling pity for Hushi. "Third Miss, I heard that you are born without a spiritual root. This is really pitiful. It is no wonder that Third Miss was raised in the courtyard since you were a child. Even maids like us have the potential to cultivate, but you as the Third Miss are actually trash that can't cultivate. This is such a shame of our Nalen mansion. Look at my mouth, please don't be offended, Third Mississippi. I'm not saying that you are a trash." My Xiang was so furious that she wanted to rush up and beat the woman's face badly, but she was pulled by Qing Wan lightly. She could see what Hushi wanted to investigate something in the Nalan mansion. It was not the time to inadvertently alert the enemy now. Xianglan couldn't help giggling. But third miss, you're having a good fortune now. You have such a good younger brother like our young master. Even if you're just a mortal, you'll have to flatter our young master in the future. I believe you don't have to be afraid of being bullied. By the time, you will find a chi refining stage or in a foundation establishment stage martial artist to marry. That's the blessing from your past life. My Xiang's body shivered. She actually curses my miss to marry a chi refining stage or foundation establishment stage martial artist. Just go to hell. Martial artists at the foundation establishment stage is not worthy of my Mississippi. Qingwan's eyes also looked a bit cold. Although Hushi was only her mission goal, she was the sweetheart of her master, and she was more likely to be the future king of Hell's wife. This girl actually asks our princess to marry the trash at the foundation establishment stage. She is simply digging her own grave. Only Hushi still had a faint look. No matter what the maid said, she didn't even have the interest to punish such a small character. At this moment, there was a group of people coming from the other end of the road. The leader was a young girl in beautiful clothes. She had beautiful facial features. She wore a gourd pendant that was rich in spiritual power on her head, and she wore a valuable storage bracelet on her hand. She exuded an arrogant momentum. Xianglan, who was still mocking at Hushi, immediately stepped forward and smiled flatteringly. Second miss, when did you come back? Why didn't you tell the maid to welcome you? The person was Naran Feishue, who whipped Nalan Hushi and sold her to Gluttonous House. Nalan Feishue replied with an indifferently. She glanced at the several maids behind her, and she said while looking up, I just came back yesterday, and it happens that some of the maids in my house are missing somehow. Are the maids behind you new to this mansion? Pick 2 smart ones and send them to my room. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Xianglan's expression suddenly stiffened, and she stuttered in her speech. Second miss, they are not maids. If they are not a maid, who are they? Nalan Feishue was displeased as she was refuted by Xianglan. Could they be the people from the poor relatives who come to ask for money? I'm already respecting them for giving them a meal. Quickly send me the left one and middle two. As Nalan Feishue spoke halfway, her voice suddenly stopped. Her unbelievable gaze fell on Hushi. The original arrogant expression immediately turned into shock. She pointed at Hushi, then she exclaimed after a short while. Why are you here? Shouldn't you already? Hushi walked forward slowly. The clear and slanted eyes looked icy on her yellowish face. Oh, it turned out to be the second sister. It's been a long time. But the second sister, is there anything wrong? You said I should have what? Shouldn't I be dead? Or shouldn't I be sold to a dirty place? Nalan Feishue was speechless for a long time. In fact, she did not believe the facts before her eyes. Because after instructing Zhang Dezhong to handle the matters, she went out to cultivate. However, the news from her maid said that things were done. So she always thought that Nalan Hushi had already become a scarred corpse, or a slave to someone else who was ruined until her body deformed. But now she actually saw Hushi in Nalan Mansion. Although it is still the ugly appearance of the yellowish face, she didn't look like she is tortured miserably. Aren't she still alive and kicking? Could it be that dog, Zhang Dezhong, cheated me? Then Nalan Feishue met Hushi's eyes again. Deep, clear, ice-cold and high above. There was no longer the fear and trepidation and hummel like previously. Like she was just an ant in Hushi's eyes. Nalan Feishue suddenly became furious. You slut actually dare to talk to me like this? Who gave you the courage to dare to look at me like this? Did I beat you not enough that you feel itchy? Since you are so bitching, I will fulfill you. After that, she raised her hand and slapped at Hushi with a palm full of spiritual power. However, Qingwan caught her hand in the air. Nalan Feishue swung several times, but she was unable to shake off Qingwan's hand. She immediately screamed. Are you all blind? Didn't you see this dog slaves offending their master? Quickly catch these 3 bitches and beat them hard. The servants behind Nalan Feishua heard the words and suddenly rushed toward Qing Wan aggressively. Qing Wan's eyes turned cold, flicking Nalan Feishua aside, and jumping into the group of servants. Just listening to the beating sounds, the tall and muscular servants were thrown out, falling heavily on the ground and giving a painful moan. Nalan Feishua was thrown to the ground. She also felt pain in her buttock and back. Now that she looked up and saw her servants being beaten up by a maid, she burst into anger and shouted furiously, "Nalan Hushi, who gave you the dog's guts to let your maid attack my servants? You are just looking for death." After that, the spiritual power of her body increased. She pulled out a dark gold barbed whip and swung it toward Hushi's face. Qing Wan was shocked to see the whip swinging at Hushi. Nalan Feishua has an advanced level of foundation establishment stage strength. If she hurts princess, please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Qing Wan was about to rush over, but she suddenly stopped. A purple vine extended from Hushi's wrist like an arrow, entangling Nalan Feishua's whip. Then, with only a few metal cracking sounds, the fourth-grade dark gold whip was devoured completely under the eyes of everyone. After Purple Abyss Vine was upgraded, in addition to lurking underground, it also had one more skill. That was the vines, that could only absorb liquids previously, now could directly devour various crystal stones, magic weapons and bones. It was just that the process of creating this skill was really hard to describe easily. For the cultivation of the several brats, Hushi was not stingy. She even provided the 3rd grade and 4th grade crystal stones into the void like she didn't want money at all, letting them use the crystal stones at will. Little Egg, Little Golden Dragon and Little Cow could all directly absorb the spiritual power in the spar. Then they would cultivate with the help of the 9th secluded spirit spring. But Purple Abyss Vine couldn't. It could only absorb spiritual power and flesh from living creatures, but it couldn't do anything to the inorganic matter like crystal stones. In a hurry, it came up with a way to turn the little holes on the vine, that was initially used for sucking blood, into sharp small mouths. Then it chunked and swallowed the crystal stones one by one. When Hushi saw the scene for the first time, listening to the crunching sound, she only felt her back teeth were aching. Nalan Feishua was stunned by the scene before her. Then she looked at Purple Abyss Vine's eyes full of heat and greed. "What magic weapons are you using? Such expensive magic weapon is really a waste for you who don't have any spiritual power. If you hand it over, I might let you go. Otherwise, I will let you suffer later on." When Hushi used Purple Abyss Vine, she didn't need spiritual power at all. So Nalan Feishua thought she was still a mortal who didn't have any cultivation, and was just relying on magic weapon. Hushi sneered. "Really, how are you going to make me suffer?" With that said, the purple whip in her hand was raised high as if it had intelligent. Then it struck down heavily. With a snapping sound, Nalan Hushi uttered a sharp scream. She fell to the ground abruptly, rolling and crying in pain. Hushi chuckled. "Is this not suffering enough? Or is it?" The 2nd and 3rd struck hit heavily on Nalan Feishua. It made her rolling on the ground and making a pig-like howl. Her heart was full of disbelief. Is this the same cowardly and timid Nalan Hushi, who only knew how to cry and beg me? She dares to beat me? Is she tired of living? Nalan Hushi, you dare to hit me. You actually dare to hit me. Bitch, I want you to die miserably. Anyone. Help. Hushi's hand didn't move. She was standing straight with a cold smile on her face. But the purple whip was whipping on Nalan Feishua. It was so painful, like she was going through hell. Hushi's eyes were dark and she said coldly, "Nalan Feishua, last time, did you lash Nalan Hushi like this too? She begged you and cried for you to spare her, but you were getting happier as you whipped harder. Since you like whipping so much, I will let you taste this feeling now. Why shouldn't you thank me?" As the purple whip whipped hard on Nalan Feishua, her aching body twitched. Finally, she didn't have the stamina to roll on the ground. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. The original insult also turned into howling for mercy. The servants who were knocked down by Qing Yuan wanted to rush over and help as they heard Naren Feishua's cry for help. But when they saw dozens of purple vines extended from Hushi's wrist, they were shocked. Those purple vines wiggled in the air with mighty. Some occasionally fell down and hit the ground with a slapping sound. Even the bricks on the ground are cracked. Xianglan was shivering in fear. She remembered her arrogance toward Nalen Hushi, and she felt anxious at the moment. Seeing the purple vines waving in the air, they seemed to be hitting her at any time, giving her a heavy blow. At this moment, she suddenly saw a few figures not far away were rushing here as they heard the sound. It was Nalen Zhengze and Nalen Ziyun. Xianglan was overjoyed, and she almost rolled and crawled on the ground toward Nalen Ziyun, shouting loudly, "Master, young master, help me. Second miss is almost beating by third miss to death. Help." After Nalen Ziyun settled Nalen Hushi, he went to report to Nalen Zhengze, and he thought that Nalen Zhengze didn't care about Hushi. But who knows? When Nalen Zhengze heard that Hushi had arrived, he immediately said that he wanted to see her now. Nalen Ziyun was a little displeased, but he still led Nalen Zhengze respectfully. Just entering the backyard, they heard a noise. It vaguely mixed with the familiar screaming and howling. Then he saw his maid. Xianglan came over and knelt in front of him. However, when Nalen Ziyun heard Xianglan's words, he was obviously startled. Who is beating who to death? That useless Nalen Hushi can beat Nalen Heishua to death? Would Xianglan make a mistake? Xianglan shuddered and said, "Yes. It is third miss beating second Mississippi young master. Master, please hurry and save second miss." Xianglan's face was pale, and her head was drenched in sweats. Her eyes were full of terror. It didn't look like she was lying. Nalen Zhengze and Nalen Ziyun looked at each other, and they both saw the shock in each other's eyes. Nalen Zhengze walked forward quickly, and soon he saw Nalen Hushi standing on the side while looking down and Nalen Feishua who was lying on the ground and kept screaming. He looked up and down on Hushi, and his eyes were full of with inquiry and deepness. It took a long time for him to scold loudly. "What the hell is going on?" Xianglan and Nalen Feishua's servants and maids saw Nalen Zhengze as if they saw a savior. They quickly knelt in front of him, keeping shouting, "Master, please help us." Nalen Feishua looked weak. She crawled beside Nalen Zhengze's feet, grabbing her clothes. Her tears kept streaming down. "Father, save me, that bitch wants to kill me." A useless person with no cultivation is going to kill Naren Feishua at the foundation establishment stage? Moreover, Feishua is still even being beaten to the ground and crying. Nalen Zhengze's gaze became fierce as he looked at Hushi. Then it was glittering again. What does this represent? Does it mean that Enlingua really left a life-saving thing for Hushi? As long as we Nalen family can get this treasure. Nalen Ziyun also caught up at this time, scolding toward Xianglan. "Don't just keep crying there. Quickly tell father what happened." Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Xianglan wiped tears with a handkerchief while stuttering. "I was instructed to bring third miss to the front hall to meet master and madam, and we happened to meet second miss on the road." Second miss stepped forward to greet third miss, who knew that third miss didn't appreciate it, but instead she talked bad about second Mississippi. Second miss was angry, so she argued with third Mississippi. No one ever expected third miss would suddenly take a whip and start whipping second Mississippi. We stepped forward to dissuade her. Not only did third miss not listen, but she also whipped us. I did not dare to offend third Mississippi. But if I didn't go and help, second miss would be beaten to death by third miss. At this time, with Nalen Zhengze and Nalen Ziyun in front of him, Xianglan immediately became fearless. Anyway, she had offended Hushi, plus the young master did not like this third sister. It would be better to get rid of her early. Can Nalen Hushi bear the consequences of beating her own sister? The light of gloating flashed in the eyes of Nalen Ziyun, and he looked at Nalen Feishua's maids. Is this really the case as Xianglan said? These maids were loyal to Nalen Feishua. How would they deny? They immediately added the fuel to the oil on Hushi's crime again. Nalan Ziyun concealed the smile on his mouth and said sadly toward Hushi, "Third sister, even if you don't like second sister, how can you beat your own sister on the first day of entering the mansion? You act so recklessly. How can father keep you in Nalan Mansion?" Hushi seemed to be smiling, watched his excellent performance, and remained silent. Nalan Jungza frowned. "Hushi, is it really like what they said?" Hushi didn't answer Nalan Jungza's question, but she sneered at Nalan Feishue who lay on the ground. "Second sister, don't pretend. If you don't like me at Nalan Mansion, I will leave. Why should you make yourself suffer to play such a show?" After that, she calmly looked at Nalan Jungza and slowly said, "Father, don't you know better than anyone else, right? I'm just a useless person with no cultivation. How can I beat second sister? Since everyone said that second sister was beaten by me with a whip, can father show me the wound on second sister, and the kind of whip marks I left on her?" Hushi's tone was completely different from her former cowardice, but she was calm and determined. She did not panic at all. This made Nalan Jungza suspicious. He squatted down to check Nalan Feishue's body, and found that there wasn't really any whip mark on her. And he didn't find anything peculiar with his spiritual power. This was clearly a healthy body with no signs of injury. Hushi chuckled. "Since father, brother, and second sister don't like me staying at Nalan Mansion so much, I think I should better leave. Lest someone condemn me for hurting second sister, then condemning me for being unfilial tomorrow." Nalan Jungza's face looked gloomy, and he glared fiercely at Nalan Feishue and Xiang Lan. "What the hell is going on? Second miss is not hurt at all. You guys colluded to lie against me. Do you think I can be fooled at will?" As soon as Xiang Lan heard this, she was suddenly confused. She rushed over to pick up Nalan Feishue's arm and check it. Then she said with a trembling voice, "Impossible, I just saw third miss whip landed on second miss arm with my own eyes. There should definitely be scars. Master, look. Please go to https://www.novel updates. cc/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free." Nalan Feishue's sleeves were lifted, but only her snow-white smooth skin could be seen. There weren't any whip marks. Xiang Lan broke into sweats, and her eyes were full of panic and disbelief. "No, impossible. I saw it with my own eyes. Didn't you all see it with your own eyes?" Nalan Feishue was still suffering from pain all over her body. She was tearfully pulling Nalan Jungza's clothes. "Father, help me. I'm so painful. It's so hurt, because that bitch hit me. Father, you have to stick up for me." She was crying miserably, but her face was ruddy. Her spiritual fluctuation was steady. There wasn't any scar on her body. She didn't look like a seriously injured patient at all. Nalan Jungza was a fourth-ranked doctor. Was it that he could still make a mistake for judging whether a person was injured? At this time, he felt that he was being fooled. He was suddenly ashamed into anger. He shook off Nalan Feishue's hand fiercely. "Shut up, are you addicted to fool your father now?" He pointed to Nalan Feishue's maid. "What are you guys doing? Quickly bring your miss to her room. Is she still not shameful enough to stay here?" The servants were panic-stricken. How did they dare to delay? They quickly supported Nalan Feishue, who was still crying, to bring her back. My Xiang glanced at the dull look of Xiang Lan, and she pouted. "Miss, I think we should go back. Although the courtyard is a little shabby, at least no one will anger you there. So many people in this house don't like you, even a maid can frame you at will. I think it's meaningless for you to stay." Nalan Jungza's face turned dark, and his fierce gaze swept to Xiang Lan. He shouted in deep voice, "Drag this maid who frames her master down, smash her dantian, and flog her to death." Xiang Lan shuddered, raising her head in disbelief. As she looked into Nalan Jungza's cold and cruel eyes, her fear suddenly surged out like a tide. Young master, help. I won't dare anymore. I won't do it anymore. Young master, please beg master for mercy for me." Xiang Lan threw herself desperately in front of Nalan Ziyun and asked him for help. Nalan Ziyun's face also looked a bit ugly, but he said helplessly, "You offended Third Mississippi. It's useless to EG me. However, I think Third Miss is a kind-hearted person, so I think she will forgive you when it is possible." Xianglan immediately understood it and turned to Hushi. He knelt in front of her and slapped herself in the face. Third Miss, my mind was possessed by evil thoughts, so I would only dare to frame Mississippi. Third Miss, please be merciful and spare my life. Oh. Third Miss, please spare my life. Hushi looked at Nalan Ziyun with a smile, and she slowly said, younger brother is really kind-hearted. He is even willing to plead for his maid. However, when your sister was being framed just now, why didn't you say something for your sister? Before Nalan Ziyun had time to say anything, Nalan Zhengzi's face immediately became even uglier. He said coldly, why are you guys still standing there? Quickly drag this cheap maid down. Don't let her discuss Third Miss again. Soon, a manservant of Nalan Mansion rushed up and dragged away Xianglan, who was crying. Nalan Ziyun looked at the direction where Xianglan disappeared, and his eyes flashed a dark light. His resentment against Hushi deepened a bit more. Nalan Zhengzi looked at Hushi. At this time, his gaze was considered amiable. Hushi, now that you have returned to Nalan Mansion, you will naturally be the third Miss of Nalan Mansion. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. It was just a maid who couldn't see the situation clearly. Father will naturally punish her for you. And you don't have to be angry with Ziyun for a maid. Ziyun is soft-hearted since he was a child. This is exactly the same as your mother. The two of you are brother and sister. You must get along well in the future. Then your mother can only be at peace in the afterlife. Hushi glanced at Nalan Ziyun and smiled. Please be assured, father. I will definitely get along with Ziyun well. Nalan Zhengzi's words and expressions became more amiable. Since there was such an incident today, and Hushi, you are frightened, so the matter of visiting your mother will be delayed until tomorrow. You should go back to rest. It wasn't until Hushi's figure disappeared around the corner that Nalan Zhengzi said to his son with a gloomy face, come into the study room with me. As soon as they entered the study room, Nalan Zhengzi took a seat in the chair and slammed. Ziyun, what did you do just now? Did you forget what I told you to do? I asked you to build a good relationship with her, but what the hell are you doing? What if the relationship between you two worsens? Nalan Ziyun stood panicky in front of Nalan Zhengzi, but his eyes were indignant. Hearing Nalan Zhengzi's last words, he suddenly said stubbornly, if it worsens, then let it be. That useless trash is not my sister. Thinking of the ridicule and humiliation Nalan Ziyun had received, his handsome face twisted. It is because of such a useless sister, so I will be ridiculed no matter where I go. Father, I really don't understand. Nalan Hushi is just a worthless waste. Her existence will only be a shame for Nalan family. Why are you protecting her so much? Isn't she better be dead rather than living? Nalan Zhengzi frowned and said nothing as he listened to Nalan Ziyun's complaint. After a long time he sighed. Ziyun, you are my most valued son. I send you to the palace as a prince's companion, and spent a big price to send you to Qixing Palace to cultivate. Do you think I will hurt you? Father, I don't mean that. Nalan Ziyun quickly said anxiously. I just don't understand that Nalan Hushi is a useless waste at all. Why do you still protect her? You even let me please her and approach her. When I think of this kind of useless person as my sister, I wish I could kill her and let her disappear in this world. Nalan Zhengzi's eyes were gloomy, and he didn't scold Nalan Ziyun's cruelty. Instead, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Ziyun, your character is exactly like me when I was young. Well, since you care so much about Hushi's identity, then I will tell you the truth. But you must ensure that everything you hear today can never be said to the third person, even the elders in the family. Nalan Ziyun only felt his heart beating. He had a hunch that he was about to hear a big secret. Even his breathing became slow subconsciously. But he said solemnly, Father, rest assured, I will keep my mouth tight. Nalan Zhengzi nodded and remained silent for a long time before slowly saying, Nalan Hushi is indeed not your sister. Her brother died as early as a dozen of years ago. What? Nalan Ziyun's eyes widened abruptly. Father, what do you mean? Am I not your biological son? How is this possible? Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Don't panic. Nalan Jungza stood up and patted Nalan Ziyun's back. He said with a soft tone and an amiable and gentle face, "You're my real son of Nalan Jungza. This can't be wrong. But your mother is not in Lingyue." And Nalan Jungza stopped a moment, and deep jealousy and resentment were reflected in his squinted eyes. "Nalan Hushi is not my daughter." Nalan Ziyun's eyes widened sharply. "Nalan Hushi, she is not your child? Is it true about what mother said? And Lingyue is really a slutty woman. Not only she was dishonest to her husband, she even gave birth to the child of another man." "Shut up." Nalan Jungza shouted fiercely and slammed heavily on a chair on the side. The chair creaked, and it shattered into powder. Nalan Ziyun was shocked. He stared at Nalan Jungza in fear and trepidation with a pale face. He didn't understand why his father suddenly burst into rage. Nalan Jungza took a deep breath. After a long time he calmed down and said, "This person and this matter will not be mentioned in the future." Nalan Ziyun hurriedly bowed, but his eyes glanced at Nalan Jungza secretly. Seeing his gruesome and twisted face, he couldn't help but feel a little palpitations. Nalan Jungza's eyes filled with too much lust, hatred, longing, unwillingness and jealousy, and they finally all turned into greed. Nalan Ziyun quickly lowered his eyes and whispered, "Father, since Nalan Hushi is not your own daughter, why should you protect her? Isn't it better to let her die?" Nalan Jungza wiped his face, and when he lowered his hand, his expression had returned to normal. He said with a deep voice, "Because Nalan Hushi has Lingyue's relics on her hands. All you have to do now is to build a good relationship with Nalan Hushi, and let her think that you are her real brother, then find some ways to get Lingyue's relics." "What relics?" Nalan Ziyun frowned. "If the relics are real, can you just let Nalan Hushi take them out? I don't believe she dare not take them." Nalan Jungza frowned. "I don't know exactly what the relics are, but it must be related to medical skills and pill refining. I have probed Nalan Hushi several times. She should not know that the existence of these relics, or that she used not know. But now she may not be. What does father mean?" Nalan Jungza's eyes looked complicated and distant, and his voice had a strong emotion. "Lingyue is a shocking talent, and she is so wise. She would never let her daughter be so mediocre. She must have kept those secret books with a secret method, then sealed them on Nalan Hushi. Only those who trigger certain conditions can open them. Don't you find that now Nalan Hushi has changed from her previous self? I think the seal on her may have been unlocked." Nalan Ziyun hadn't seen Nalan Hushi before, and he only heard about her before, so he didn't have any deep feelings about it. He frowned. Even if she isn't a coward anymore, Hushi is still just an ordinary person. I'm sure she doesn't have any spiritual power fluctuations. If Lingyue really left something for her, how could she still be a waste? Nalan Jungza suddenly took out a medicinal pill and said to Nalan Ziyun, "You should know about this medical pill, right? Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free." Nalan Ziyun took over the medicinal pill, and his expression suddenly looked stunned. This is the best spirit healing pill of Shengda Hall. Now these superb spirit healing pills' price had become a sky-high price. Shengda Hall sells medicinal pills every day, but people will fight for the best quality pill they sold immediately when there is stock. Nalan Jungza nodded. "I suspect that Lingyue's relics have been unsealed because of this medicinal pills. These medicinal pills give me a feeling very similar to the medicinal pills that Lingyue once refined. I suspect that the person behind Shengda Hall has already gotten Lingyue's relics." "Shiyu!" Nalan Ziyun exclaimed suddenly. Nalan Jungza was startled. "Shiyu?" Nalan Ziyun said in agitation. "Father, Shiyu is one of the person in charge behind Shengda Hall. It is said that the person who made the best quality pill is the master of Shiyu. He even healed Ouyang Haoshuan's broken veins and developed an antidote for the blood drunk. in the sealed dragon domain's secret territory. Most importantly, I met him on Breaking Spirit Mountain once, and he mentioned about Nalan Hushi to me. Nalan Zheng's pupils shrank suddenly. He said with a trembling voice, Shiyu, Shiyu. It turned out that the young miracle healer who can heal broken vein and tendon is him. He even knows Nalan Hushi. It seems that I guess right. Someone got in Ling Yue's relics and learned the powerful pill refining technique. As he said, his face was twisted. He clenched his fists hard. Those things, those pill refining technique, and those miracle healers' reputation and praise, should be mine. They should belong to our Nalan family. Damn bitch. I have kept her for so many years. She found the relics, but she didn't hand the relics to me. Instead, she gave the relics to an outsider. The child who has no blood relationship with me will never be mine. Bitch. Bitch. Nalan Ziyun's expression also twisted. It turns out that the praises that Shiyu could get were all because of the relics obtained from Nalan Hushi. There are strange medical skills in it. There is also the powerful pill refining technique. Maybe there is also a powerful cultivation book. If I get it, I can also be high above like Shiyu. I can be the limelight. No. I will be more powerful than Shiyu, making both Xia Yichen and Shangguanqi to respect me and look at me with differently. That things are clearly belong to me, but Nalan Hushi actually gave it to Shiyu. This bitch, this waste, no wonder she has a maid with unfathomable strength. That must be given to her by Shiyu. This Shiyu must have seduced Nalan Hushi, so that he could let my useless sister to hand out in Ling Yue's relics without holding back. Thinking of this, Nalan Ziyun affirmed his guess more and more. He also told Nalan Zhengze about the maid around Nalan Hushi. Nalan Zhengze also became more determined. He gritted his teeth and said, This ungrateful bitch who helps the outsider with our family's property. When I get the relics, I will let her suffer a living death. Nalan Ziyun also took a deep breath. Father, the most important thing now is to take in Ling Yue's relics from Shiyu. Or maybe Hushi still has the relics in her hand. Nalan Zhengze nodded and said, You bring Nalan Hushi to Xingda Hall these few days to probe them. It's best if you can see Shiyu. Find some ways to let Nalan Hushi take back all the relics. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. I will also check Nalan Hushi here to see if I can find clues from her. We must have an Ling Yue's relics in our hands. This is our hope for the rise of Nalan Mansion. Nalan Ziyun nodded his head with a smile full of greed. As long as I can get those pill refining and cultivation books, I will one day be able to trample on Shiyu under my feet. By the time, let's see how arrogant can he be in front of me. The two father and son looked at each other and smiled. Their expressions were full of greed and excitement. But they didn't realize that at the corner of the room, a small gecko was laying there quietly, listening to the conversation between the two. After 15 minutes, everyone in the study room left. Only then the little gecko carefully left the study room. The little gecko quickly returned to the room where Hushi lived. As soon as it entered the room, he shook his head and turned into a cute little Tyrannosaurus. He shouted, Boss, listen to me, I heard a shocking news. Hushi was drinking the tea made by Azu in her room at this time. Azu's character was cold and she was not good at cooking, but she did know how to make an excellent tea. Hearing the little golden dragon keeping shouting, she couldn't help laughing. What's the shocking news? For example, I'm not Nalan Zhengze's biological daughter? The words that little golden dragon wanted to say suddenly went back into his mouth. He stuttered after a while, Boss, so you knew it already, but how did you know? Hushi sneered as she said casually, I guess it. What did they discuss? You tell me in detail. Little golden dragon did not conceal, and he immediately repeated the conversation between the two. At the end, little golden dragon couldn't help laughing. Boss, don't you think they are very funny? In the end, I even heard Nalan Ziyun said that she seduced Nalan Hushi to get in Ling Yue's relics. They actually said that you seduce yourself, ha ha ha. Hushi didn't laugh, but she showed a dignified expression. Little golden dragon smiled for a while, and found that something was wrong. He couldn't help but look serious. Boss, what's wrong? Hushi frowned. They said that my real younger brother was dead? Little Golden Dragon nodded. Seeing Hushi's gloomy eyes, he quickly said, Boss, don't be sad. Even if your younger brother is dead, you still have us. Hushi forced a smile and nodded, but she still somehow felt sad in her heart. Hearing the news that Nalan Hushi's younger brother was dead, she felt as if her chest was being pressured by a boulder, making her unable to breathe. But it was just a stranger that she had never met. But is Nalan Hushi's brother really dead? Hushi remembered that Nalan Yanming regarded her as his younger brother in the Baichao garden. He clearly said that his younger brother was missing instead of dead. Little Golden Dragon hovered in the air for a while, then he suddenly remembered something. He quickly said again, By the way, boss, there is something very strange. There is a very powerful enchantment in a corner of the study room of Nalanjingza. I only got a little closer, and I felt a terrifying power. Moreover, it's just a little bit closer. Nalanjingza actually discovered and looked back. I think he must have hidden something in his study room. Hushi narrowed her eyes. You're almost at the early stage of the golden core. That enchantment can actually terrify you? Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. If I remember correctly, Nalanjingza is just at the gold core stage, right? Little Golden Dragon nodded again and again. So I dare not explore again, and I return immediately. Boss, if you want, I can go and explore at night. No need. Hushi shook her head immediately. I will live in Nalan family for quite some time anyway. They want to find relics from me, then their fox's tails will be exposed eventually. As for the study room, I'll explore it sooner or later. I'm not in a hurry now, lest inadvertently alert the enemy. Speaking of which, Hushi could not help frowning. I always feel that there is some kind of trump card in Nalanjingza's hands that I don't know of. This makes him so certain that Enlingyue's relics will fall into his hands. Before we get to know about this trump card, we shouldn't act rashly. Nalan Mansion, in the bedroom of Nalan Feishue. At this time, Nalan Feishue was still lying on the bed. Her hair was scattered, her face looked haggard, her brows deeply wrinkled. Her mouth kept moaning painfully. Miss, if you are really uncomfortable, take some medicinal pills to replenish your qi. Out. Get out. Nalan Feishue opened the medical pills handed over by her maid. Then she said hysterically, Why did Dad not believe me? It was clear that the slut beat me. Why did Dad believe her instead of me? I want to kill that bitch. Sell that bitch to the slave market and make her a slave again. As Nalan Feishue was scolding hysterically, the door was pushed open, and Mrs. Nalan came in with a nervous face. Feishue, I heard that you were injured? Which worthless slave made you hurt? Mum will punish her for you. Mum. Nalan Feishue cried out when she saw Mrs. Nalan. Mum, it was that bitch Nalan Hushi, she beat me. She whipped and even insulted me, but Dad didn't believe in me. Mum, you have to stick up for me. It's that bitch again. Hearing Hushi's name, Mrs. Naran's face twisted. She remembered her stupidity of that time, and she often woke up to find that she was making some strange moves. Sometimes she was lying beside the pit with her face covered with feces. Flies and bugs were buzzing in her ears. Sometimes she ripped off her clothes and squatted in the middle of the yard, laughing and singing with disheveled hair. Sometimes she was hiding in a dog hole, learning to bark like a puppy while she kept digging the ground. Every time she woke up and thought of her shameful act, Mrs. Naran couldn't wait to kill herself. Her reputation was completely lost. The next time people looked at her, there was no longer the awe of the past. Instead, they always laughed at her and gossiping about her secretly. Nalanjingza thought of various ways to treat her, but she couldn't find out what disease she had, and there was no sign of being poisoning. In the end, Nalanjingza could only diagnose as she was suffering from soul dissociation disorder because she was furious about Naran Feishue's marriage. In order not to let her be embarrassed, Nalanjingza could only shut her in Hungfong courtyard and prevent her from going out. The manservant would bring meals to her every day. As time went by, Mrs. Nalan's illness became more and more serious. Her heart was full of despair and panic. In the end, she even secretly asked people to send a letter to her family, Murong Mansion, hoping that they would send capable doctor to heal her. Mrs. Nalan, formerly known as Murong Yaru, was a miss from Murong family. Among the 4 major families in Yanjing City, Nalan family and Murong family were equally famous. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Mrs. Nalan believed that as long as her parents knew her situation, they would surely save her from suffering more. But who knows, the person who delivered the letter brought back a shocking news. Murong Mansion was exterminated. Her brothers and parents were all killed. Mrs. Nalan was infuriated and vomited a lot of blood. Since then her disorder had become even worse. This terrible situation continued until her eldest daughter Nalan Yurong, who was studying abroad, heard about her situation, and sent her a medicinal pill. After taking the medicinal pill, Mrs. Nalan felt refreshed, and the disorder never occurred again. Mrs. Nalan lived like an animal for these few months, and she thought she was furious because of Nalan Feishua's marriage, so she naturally hated Hushi to her core. At this moment, when she heard my daughter mentioned Hushi, she couldn't help but gritted her teeth and said, "That bitch. If she didn't frame you to have a relationship with the Zhu family's fat pig, and set you up to marry him, how would I get crazy due to anger and sadness? It's that bitch's fault that mom had to live like a dog for the past few months. If your sister didn't get the medicinal pill from her master, I can't imagine how I would end up. Who knows that the bitch is still not satisfied after framing us? She even dared to beat you up. I will never forgive this bitch." Nalan Feishua was shocked as she shouted, "Mom, who did Nalan Hushi frame me to marry? Who is the dead fat pig of the Zhu family?" Nalan Feishua had just returned to Yanjing City, and now that the time had passed and the situation had changed, the initial gossip no longer existed. She didn't even know the fact that she was engaged to Zhu Zhongba. As Mrs. Nalan was helpless, she told Nalan Feishua about what happened previously as well as the marriage decided by Nalan Jingze and the Zhu family. Nalan Feishua seemed to be struck by lightning. She was dumbstruck. After she reacted to it, she immediately burst into tears. "Mum, I don't want to marry the fat pig. I don't want to marry him even if I die. I wasn't sold to the gluttonous house, nor have I got any relationship with Fatty Zhu. All this was done by Hushi. Mum, you must help me." Mrs. Nalan hugged her crying breathless daughter with consolation. "You can rest assured, Feishua. You are my precious daughter, and you are extremely talented. You have achieved the foundation establishment stage at a young age. How can the fat pig of the Zhu family be worthy of you? Just let that Hushi bitch marry him." "But Dad," Nalan Feishua cried as she throbbed the bed angrily. "Why is Dad so biased toward that bitch? She obviously just an ugly bitch with no cultivation base, useless waste. Woo-woo, what if Dad doesn't agree? You can rest assured. Your mum has contacted your elder sister to come back to support you." Mrs. Nalan narrowed her eyes and sneered. "Since Murong family is exterminated, your dad doesn't respect me like he used to be. However, as long as your elder sister returns, everything will be different." Thinking of her eldest daughter, Mrs. Nalan couldn't help but show a proud look on her face. "Don't forget that your sister Nalan Yurong is the disciples of the Doctors Association's elder, Master Shukong, also known as Void Master. His medical skills and pill refining level are almost the same level as your dad. Even your dad vast to value your elder sister's opinions. As long as your elder sister disagrees with this marriage, your dad will definitely reconsider it. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free." Nalan Yurong was arguably the best existence of Nalan family's generation. There wasn't anyone else like her. At the age of 20, she became the disciple of the great elder, Master Shukong of the Doctors Association, great with outstanding talent, and a top-secret recipe of the Nalan family. Although there were many disciplines under Master Shukong, there were only a few girls. Nalan Yurong was a rare beauty. so she was the favorite of her master and fellow disciples. In addition, Nalan Yurong also fought for herself. She became a fourth-ranked doctor within 10 years after becoming Master Shukong's disciple. Her pill refining skill had also become the third rank. Even her cultivation had also reached the condensation period. Such an excellent existence made Nalan family regard Nalan Yurong as the future of the Nalan family. Even Nalan Jingze looked proud when he talked about his elder daughter. Mrs. Nalan's disorder, that even Nalan Jingze was helpless, was healed by a pill that Nalan Yurong got from Master Shukong. Thinking of this daughter, how could Mrs. Naran not be proud? Even if Morong family was exterminated, as long as her daughter was still there, her status in Nalan Mansion would not be changed. Nalan Feishua was overjoyed. She grabbed Mrs. Nalan's hands and said, "Mom, are you telling the truth? Elder sister is really coming back? She will really stick up for me? I have received the news from your elder sister that she will be here in a few days." Mrs. Nalan's eyes looked sullen as she said coldly, "You can rest assured. Just let that little bitch be arrogant for 2 more days. When your elder sister has arrived, her good days will come to an end." Nalan Feishua nodded again and again. Her hands were violently grasping the quilt under her. Even blue veins burst out on the back of her hands, as if she was screwing Nalan Hushi's head at the moment. "That's right, I have to endure until elder sister comes back. With elder sister supporting me, I want to see how arrogant can the bitch be." The next day, Hushi greeted her dear brother, Nalan Ziyun early in the morning. Nalan Ziyun's attitude today was several times more gentle and friendly than yesterday. She personally led her to meet Mrs. Naran, who greeted her along the way, and said that she was prepared for the maid who was waiting for her. "Sister, you are my dearest family beside Dad. We will help each other in difficulties in the future. I will protect you so that you will not suffer anymore. So sister, if you have any need, you must tell me." Hushi responded casually with a no. Nalan Ziyun suddenly felt that his enthusiasm was poured into the ice water. There wasn't even a splash of water. He gritted his teeth in anger, but he still smiled gently and amiably on the surface. His eyes were glittering as he looked at Hushi. It looked like their relationship was profound, and they trusted and loved each other. When approaching the Hung Fong courtyard where Mrs. Naran was staying, Nalan Ziyun couldn't help but ask the question that had buried in his heart. "Sister, I dreamed of my mum last night. Mum was crying in my dream. It was so heartbreaking. When I woke up in the morning, even my pillow was soaked in tears." Nalan Ziyun said while expressing a sad expression. Hushi raised his eyebrows and watched his performances. She half smiled without talking. Nalan Ziyun felt spooky being watched by her. He couldn't help smiling. "Sister, don't you want to know why Mum was crying?" Hushi chuckled lightly. "At least it wasn't because her daughter is not filial. At least I never saw my mum crying in my dreams." Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Does that mean her son is not filial? Nalan Ziyun gritted his teeth, ignoring her words, and continued. "Mum told me in my dream that her medical skills were more superior than anyone. Her name was going to be remembered by generations, but she died very early. She died before she could get famous. Seeing that Nalan family's medical skills are dying, she wants to help by passing her knowledge to you and me and pass, so that we can be successful. However, it can't be done." "Sister, do you know what Mum was saying? Did Mum leave anything before she died, and she needs us to carry forward her legacy?" Hushi pursed her lips and said slowly, "Left something before death? Maybe there is." Nalan Ziyun's heart was throbbing excitedly. He shouted, "What is it?" Hushi continued, "Maybe not. I can't remember it. Do you still have an impression? Hee, we were all still in our babyhood at that time." After that, she no longer bothered about Nalan Ziyun, and quickly walked into the Hung Fong courtyard. Nalan Ziyun, who was left behind, experienced ups and downs in his mood. He was so angry that his blood was boiling. Even his gums were being bitten until bleeding. As soon as Hushi entered the Hung Fong courtyard, she felt a cold gaze staring at her. As soon as Hushie looked up, he saw Mrs. Naren sitting on the main seat. At this time, Mrs. Nayland looked much older and haggard than she first saw. There were many fine lines at the corners of her brows, and her sideburns were mostly white. Her plump face was skinny now, making her cheekbone obvious. Her face looked older than her previous look. She was sitting in front of her and staring at her fiercely. Her gloomy eyes seemed to smash her corpses, and the green muscles in the temple jumped suddenly, because she couldn't bear it too much. Hushie couldn't help laughing when she saw her. Oh, so that's the case. She thought that the carefree powder on Mrs. Naren was really cured. This carefree powder was a formula she researched in her previous life. It could suddenly stimulate the corpus cavernosum in the human brain, making people crazy. Hushie had originally thought that someone in this world could cure the poison of carefree powder, and she was excited to have a match with this master. But now she knew after seeing Mrs. Naren, carefree powder was cured, yet it was just suppressed. Treating the symptoms but not the root cause, it seemed that the toxin was suppressed for a period of time, but when the longer it gets, the more intense it will be when it rebounds. Once the poison loses control, Mrs. Naren would completely lose her mind. She would become crazier than a madman. She couldn't wait to see Mrs. Nayland's performance at that time. Mrs. Nayland saw Hushie looked at her with cold eyes, and Hushie was even sneering. She didn't intend to hide it at all. She immediately raged. How impudent are you? You don't know how to greet when seeing your mother-in-law. This guy had changed his attitude 180 times since he knew her identity and value of use. Sometimes Hushie even had goosebumps when she heard the words he said, and he could shout it out without psychological hindrance. Mrs. Nayland's facial muscle was twitching due to anger after being disturbed by Nayland Ziyun. She raised her voice. How dare you? Nayland Ziyun, do you know what you are doing? Who gives you the courage to hurt my maid? I give. Are you done? The majestic voice of Nayland Zhengze came from outside the door. When he saw Nayland Ziyun protecting in front of Nayland Hushie, he showed a satisfied expression. Then his eyes were dark. When he looked at Mrs. Naren, her eyes were full of disgust and impatience. What are you shouting at? Can't you be like a family mistress? Hushie and Ziyun are both children of my Nayland family. You as a mother should take good care of them. Is this how you take care of them? Mrs. Nayland still wanted to say something. When she met Nayland Zhengze's fierce eyes, she suddenly froze, and she dared not speak again. Nayland Zhengze waved his hand and said, Okay, Hushie, you have already greeted. You can go back. If you aren't comfortable staying here, just talk to Ziyun. If anyone in this mansion dare to bully you, Dad and Ziyun will support you. With that, he glared at Mrs. Naren as if he was warning her. If you let Hushie feel aggrieved again, don't blame me for keeping you in this Hung Fong courtyard, and you will be able to see anyone. Now that Murong Mansion was eliminated, Murong Yaru was a person of no use in Nayland Zhengze's eyes. And after seeing the madness of this woman, Nayland Zhengze didn't want to approach her even one step. He was disgusted when he looked at her. After he instructed, he didn't have the patience to bother about it, and he left hurriedly. Nayland Ziyun remembered the conversation he just had with Hushie and hurried up. In the room, only Hushie and Mrs. Naren were left, as well as some maids. Mrs. Naren couldn't regain her mind for a long time. Her eyes were full of shock, sadness, and despair. When she looked at Hushie, her eyes were filled with crazy hatred to tear her apart. Bitch, what did you say to fool master? You little bastard. Don't think that you can keep showing off in Nayland Mansion. I tell you, I will definitely let you be utterly discredited. Let you die the same as your mother. Before Mrs. Naren finished her words, her vision suddenly turned black. Immediately after, a slap hit hard on her face. Azu returned to Hushie's side after slapping. She coldly said, Her mouth is too dirty, let me make her shut up. Hushie smiled and gave Qingwan a compliment-admiring look. Then she looked at Mrs. Naren. Mrs. Nayland covered her face and looked at the girl with a normal appearance in disbelief. She felt that she was more and more unfamiliar with Nayland Hushie. Is she still the humble and pitiful girl, who could only kneel in front of me and cry? Why is her eyes so sharp? Why is her smile so infiltrating? Seeing Hushi approaching her step by step, Mrs. Naren stepped back with a frightened hand. She shivered. You. What do you want to do? I tell you, if you dare to touch me, you will not get away with it. She looked at the maids around her in terror, but what she saw was that they were all knocked out by Hushi's maid. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Hushi walked slowly to Mrs. Naren, squatted down in front of her, reached out, and gently stroked her pleated collar. Mrs. Naren shuddered as her teeth giggled. At this moment, the girl's clear voice slowly passed into her ears. Murong Yaru, do you think that I'm still the former Nalan Hushi who used to be bullied by you? She got close to Mrs. Nalan's ear and whispered, let me tell you a secret. The Nalan Hushi was dead before, and died in the hands of your baby daughter, Nalan Feishua. Now the person standing in front of you is the Hushi coming back from hell. You tell me, how should I retaliate against people who had bullied me before? I. Mrs. Naren's pupils contracted, and her body cramped. The fear on her face had become chaotic and mad. Hushi stood up with satisfaction. She no longer looked at Mrs. Nalan on the ground. Then she left the Hungfong courtyard slowly. A moment later, a hysterical cry of Mrs. Naren could be heard from Hungfong courtyard. Ghost, ghost. She is a ghost. She is here to kill. No. She is a monster. She's a terrible monster. Save me. Come and save me. The shrilling cry spread to every corner of Nalan Mansion, making everyone panic. In the afternoon, the news of Mrs. Nalan's disorder relapsing reached Hushi's ears, and she couldn't help laughing. How can this be considered a relapse? It's just a small appetizer. The real show is still behind. She said earlier that these people owe Nalan Hushi debt, and she will one day take them all back for her. My name is Cui Zhu. My name is Xiang. We are specially selected by the young master to serve Mississippi. Two well-dressed and pretty maids stood in front of Hushi and saluted her respectfully. Both of them behaved in a respectful manner. They did not have the arrogance of Xianglan at all. The clothes they wore were made of silks. And what was even more rare was that they also had the rank 5 to 6 of Qi Refiner. This kind of strength wasn't common even among the manservants and butlers. Xiang took a step forward and smiled amiably. We are originally the first-class maids who personally serve the young master. Before coming here, young master specially told us that you are his sister, so we must serve you well. Cui Zhu also bowed. Miss, if you have any need, you can tell us. We will help you get it done. Hushi and Qingluan didn't respond to their words. My Xiang had a strong sense of crisis instead. These two maids look better than her, their cultivation is comparable to me, and they even know how to talk nicely. If Miss really treats them as confidantes, what should I do? Seeing that Xiang was about to step forward to support Hushi, my Xiang immediately stepped forward and squeezed away Xiang. Miss doesn't like stranger touching her. Xiang was staggered, and her pretty face immediately showed an aggrieved expression. The tears were about to drop in her eyes, and she looked at Hushi like she wanted to talk but couldn't. Hushi tapped my Xiang's head. She was just smiling without talking. She didn't even look at the pitiful Xiang, but she walked out of the courtyard to assess this XINU house. It was too late yesterday, so she could not take a closer look. Now she realized that this XINU house actually gave her a wonderful sense of familiarity. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. No, or it should be said that this is the feeling of the original master's memory. There seemed to be a distant and blurry scene in front of her eyes. Two naive young children were chasing and playing with each other. On the windowsill there was a young woman leaning gently on the window and looking softly at the children in the garden. The gentle expression could pamper the children very well. She couldn't wish to give the best in the world to her children. The scene was very vague. She couldn't see the face of the woman and the boy at all, but she just felt that the scene was very warm and very happy, that she even had a hint of envy. Is that the mother and brother of Nalan Hashi? Are they really dead? Cui Zhu saw Hashi staring at the scene in front of her in a daze, and she quickly whispered, "Third miss, you don't know that Xianyu house is the best courtyard in the whole Nalan mansion. When Mrs. Anling was still alive, Master specially renovated this Xianyu house because of his love the Mrs. Anling. Since Mrs. Anling died, Master was heartbroken. He sealed this year as he was afraid of missing Mrs. Anling. No one was allowed to enter. Now that Master let Miss move it, it can be seen that Master really cares about Miss." Hashi regained her mind. Then she replied with a half-smile. "Oh, is it?" Cui Zhu faced Hashi's eyes as if they could see through everything, and she couldn't say a word for a while. Mai Xiang could not help but ridicule and said, "If he really cares so much, why would he let our Miss stay in another courtyard for a dozen of years without visiting her? Humph, crocodile tears, who knows what is he planning? You can go now. Tell you that my Miss doesn't like strangers to follow her. You all stay away from Miss." Both He Xiang and Cui Zhu lowered their heads, concealing the look on their faces, but they did not listen to Mai Xiang at all. They still followed Hashi step by step. Hashi glanced leisurely at half of the yard, then she walked back to the room. In fact, even if she didn't go out, she knew that the courtyard was full of spies. The security here was actually tight. Nalan Zhengze and Nalan Ziyun are really crazy about Enlingyue's relics. If they know the whereabouts of Enlingyue's relics, they would probably rush over and tear her into pieces. However, looking at their impatient look, they probably can't wait for long. As expected, Hashi could not help laughing as soon as she smelled the seemingly odorless smell of her food. The people of the Nalan family really deserve to be a medical family. In addition to poisoning, they can't seem to find another way. Although my own method is mainly base poison as well. He Xiang placed the meals to Hashi. Seeing Hashi didn't pick up the chopsticks for a long time, she couldn't help but urge, "Third miss, these are the best dishes chose by the kitchen. They are still hot. Why don't you taste it first? If you don't like it, I will ask them to change immediately." Hashi looked at her with a smile. "Oh, look at you. It seems that these meals are really delicious. Why don't I reward you with a bowl and let you eat it first?" He Xiang's face suddenly turned pale, her hands trembled nervously. "No, it's fine. I don't dare to. How can a maid simply eat Master's foods? Can Master don't make fun with me? It's fine if you don't eat. Do you have to be scared like this?" Hashi chuckled lightly. "Since that's the case, then I will eat it myself. Please go to https://www.novelupdates.cc/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free." Seeing Hashi tasted every dish, He Xiang's anxious heart was relieved. She lowered her eyes and secretly looked at Hashi's tasting the food slowly. Her face revealed a contemptuous smile. This third miss really thought she is a real miss of the Nalan family? She doesn't even know that her one foot is stepping in the hell gate. After seeing Huxiang take out the dishes, Qing Wuan looked nervously at Hashi. "Miss, is there poison in the meal? I see the girl's eyes seem sneaky. The dishes are obviously something wrong. Why do you still eat it?" Hashi took a sip of tea, then she sneered. "They want to poison with me intestine sever powder? Are they underestimating me? Don't worry, I'm fine." Qing Wuan remembered that Qing Long had said the medical skills of her princess were magical, and she was relieved. She secretly laughed at herself for borrowing troubles. No one could basically cure Master's cold poison, but the princess can even control the cold poison in Master. Why would she worry about the insignificant poison of the Nalan family? Hashi raised her eyes. "How's the progress of your investigation?" Qing Wuan heard the words and quickly said, "I have received the news from Wuyu. The Nalan family did rise suddenly about 16 years ago. Relying on several rare medicinal pill recipes, Nalan Zhengze's medical qualification has risen all the way. Eventually, he was promoted to a third-rank doctor. But in fact, at that time Nalan Zhengze did not qualify for the Doctors Association, and the status of the Nalan family as the four major families was not stable. It seemed that they would be excluded at any time. But about 11 or 12 years ago, Nalanjingza suddenly took out a kind of medicinal pill called Jukulingshan pill. This kind of medicinal pill can almost revive a dead person and grow flesh out of bone. In short, it is very magical and powerful. Nalanjingza used such a medical pill to become a member of the Doctors Association. And he also sends his daughter Nalan Yurong to be Master Shukong's discipline. Hushi did hear about Jukulingshan pill. She didn't care about it initially, but at this time listening to Qing Yuan, she had a strange thought in her heart. 11 or 2 years ago. Wasn't that when Nalan Hushi was suddenly sent to the courtyard? Qing Yuan continued, but it is strange that no one can find out the main medicine of Jukulingshan pill. And no one has seen the prescription. The process of making Jukulingshan pill, Nalanjingza never let the other person do it. Every pill is done by him in the study room alone. No another person has seen the production process of Jukulingshan pill? Azu shook her head firmly. No one. Hushi frowned and contemplated in deep thought. It seems that I have to infiltrate Nalanjingza's study room, if I want to solve the puzzle. Suddenly, purple abyss vine lurking underground made a slight tremor as a reminder. Purple abyss vine reminded Hushi that there were many masked black-shirt men lurking around her house. Each of them had the cultivation of the meridian stage. Hushi couldn't help but sneer. She once again felt how anxious the father and son of the Nalan family was. As expected, at night, a knockout smoke infiltrated through the door cracks and window eaves. Immediately afterward, several black-shirt men entered the room silently and searched the room. However, as soon as they entered the room, their vision went dark and lost consciousness. Hushi emerged from the darkness, kicked one of the black-shirt men, and let Qing Yuan give him a pill. The black-shirt man woke up and screamed as soon as he saw Hushi. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Qing Yuan squeezed his throat tightly, and her eyes were flashing a killing intent. The black-shirt man was horrified. His mouth was widened, and his eyes were full of pleading. Hushi looked at him condescendingly and whispered, I ask you answer. Don't say anything redundant, otherwise I can only use soul search. Who sent you? The black-shirt man opened his mouth, but he realized that he could not make a sound. He could only try his best to say 3 words with his mouth shape. It is Master. Sure enough, it is Nalanjingza. What did he ask you to do? This time, Qing Yuan finally let go of the black-shirt man's throat, but she put a dagger on his neck. The black-shirt man said in a trembling voice, Master asked us to check everything that Miss has touched during the day, and he also let us dispose of the 2 personal maids brought by Mississippi. Hushi nodded slowly and smiled. I understand. Just dispose of him then. As Qing Yuan heard that, her eyes were still indifferent. The dagger on the black-shirt man's throat swept fiercely. The black-shirt man didn't even make a sound, and he was dead. Smelling the bloody smell in the room, Hushi frowned, preventing Qing Yuan from moving. Purple abyss vine silently drilled from her sleeve, swinging her leaves excitedly. The next moment, Qing Yuan was shocked to see that the purple vines rolled up a few people on the ground and started crunching them. After about the time for 2 incenses, several corpses on the ground disappeared without a trace. Not just flesh and blood, but even clothes, bones, and furs. It was like they vanished completely. Hushi took back Purple Abyss Vine and touched its trembling tail. She pampered her while reprimanded. This is an exception. You have to avoid cold and raw food in the future. You will have stomachache for eating those messy foods. Qing Yuan shivered. She suddenly felt that the princess, whom her master liked, wasn't an ordinary person as expected. Nalanjungza was anxiously pacing in the study room for a day, but he couldn't calm down at all. This time, the door of the study room was knocked and Nalan Ziyan hurried in. Nalanjungza hurriedly asked, How? Have you found the trail of those death warriors? No. Nalan Ziyan shook his head. Dad, did you make a mistake? Nalan Hushi doesn't have any cultivation. The maids around her are just at the chi refining stage. They don't look like they can kill 8 meridian stage experts. Moreover, I checked all around her house today. There is no trace of fighting and blood. I don't think anyone has died there. Nalanjung's frown was still tight, and he became even more restless. But those death warriors were clearly sent by me to investigate Nalanhushi. Why would they suddenly lose contact? Is it that someone is helping that slut? Could it be the Shiyu that you mentioned? Did he kill all the death warriors I sent? Nalanzian shook his head and snorted. Although Shiyu's medical skills are superb, his cultivation base was only at the foundation establishment stage. Father, you sent out 8 meridian stage experts. Even if Shiyu came, how could he deal with them? And today I took Nalanhushi to Shingda Hall. No one in Shingda Hall knew Nalanhushi at all. I was even being ridiculed by those ignorant servants. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Thinking of what happened today, Nalanzian felt sullen. Today he took Nalanhushi to Shingda Hall to look for Shiyu. He specially asked them to announce the name of Nalanhushi. Who knows, the manservant of Shingda Hall mocked him for trying to buy medicines without having to line up by relying on a close relationship. The martial artists who had been waiting in line ridiculed him for a while, making him unable to retreat from the embarrassing situation. Nalanzian gritted his teeth and said, Dad, I don't think we have to make a fuss about Nalanhushi. She already gave Enlingyue's relics to Shiyu. Then she is it's worthless. This trash with no cultivation and an ugly look, can Shiyu put her in his eyes? Maybe. Shiyu took Enlingyue's relics and abandoned her, leaving only 2 useless mates for her. I think it's better to find some ways to get Enlingyue's relics from Shiyu. Nalanjung's expression was unpredictable for a while, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and said, Wait! There must be some secrets hidden in this bitch. Hee, she thought she can fight me, stop dreaming. Bitch, she is just as ignorant and ungrateful as her mom was. As long as I still have that trump card in my hand, everything that Enlingyue left will be mine one day, ha ha ha. Nalanzian glanced at Nalanjung's crazy smile, and there was a doubt in his eyes. What is the trump card in father's hand? Hushi's been in Nalan Mansion these past few days. She had been in this foreign world for a long time, but she had been cultivating, pill refining, or fleeing non-stop. So she could actually rest during this period. Drinking tea during the day and watching Nalanzian and Nalanjungza, putting up an affectionate play. In the evening, she occasionally played with the death warriors sent by Nalanjungza. Sometimes, she let them return without getting anything. Sometimes she killed them all. It was also a pleasure to watch Nalanjungza being suspicious and panicked, but he still had to repress himself the next day. Of course, the hysterical roar of Mrs. Nalan and the curse of Nalan Feishue were indispensable. On the whole, these daily turmoils were also quite interesting. The only regret was that Hushi had never been able to enter the study room of Nalanjungza. She also found some ways to explore. But as soon as Purple Abyss Vine approached the study room, she felt a sense of danger and immediately retrieved Purple Abyss Vine. Hushi was thinking about how to get into the study room. Then she saw Huxiang walk in and said, "Third Miss, Master requests to see him. Where to? Master and young Master are waiting for you in the study room." Hushi was suddenly happy. It's really what I'm hoping for. Nalanjung's study room was large. As soon as Hushi walked into the study room, he felt a strong sense of discord. It was as if the space here had a strange twist. At this time, Nalanjungza was sitting at the desk, holding a picture in his hand and looking attentively. Nalanziyun was already standing in front of the desk with a respectful expression and shallow sadness. Nalanjungza slowly placed the painting in his hand on the desk and unfolded toward Hushi and Nalanziyun. His face was full of sadness, and his voice was full of nostalgia. "Ziyun, Hushi, come here and take a good look. This is your mother, Enlingyue." This was not the first time Hushi saw Enlingyue's portrait. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. This portrait of Enlingua was a bit different from what Nalan Yanming showed her, but it was still the unparalleled beauty that could make the whole world move. The woman in the painting had a cool look, and her brows were thin. Her expression that was looking in front was just like a noble princess or the fairy from heaven. Enlingua in the painting had a face very similar to Hushi, but her expression was completely different from Hushi's impression. The woman who leaned against the window and looked at Nalan Hushi had a pair of tender eyes and a gentle smile that would even enthrall the sun, moon and stars. However, Enlingua's eyes in the painting were extremely cold like a blade. Moreover, Hushi couldn't help but look at Nalan Ziyun beside her. I look so similar to Enlingua, but Nalan Ziyun doesn't have any similarity with her at all. Of course he is a fake one, so it's reasonable if he doesn't look like Enlingua. Nalan Zheng's fingers lightly touched the edge of the portrait, and his voice was filled with deep sorrow. Your mother was very talented and beautiful in her lifetime, and it is precisely because of your mother's help we Nalan Mansion will only have our current status today. It was unfortunate that she passed away in her early life. Your mom's body was not in a good condition after giving birth to you too. She passed away a few years later. Whenever I think of your mother, I will feel so sad that I can't eat and sleep. I was even more afraid you two would be sad, so I sent you two separately to another courtyard and the Qixing Palace since young. Ziyun Hushi, you won't blame me, right? Nalan Ziyun hurriedly said. Don't say that, Dad. You sent us away because you love Mom too much. Why would we blame you? Hushi, don't you think so? Hushi chuckled lightly. Since brother said so, then that's the case. Nalan Jingza was a little dissatisfied with Hushi's weird tone, but he still continued. Ziyun Hushi, your mother told me during her lifetime that when she passed away, she would leave the most important things to you for custody. You can take it out when Nalan Mansion is in a crisis, so that you can let Nalan Mansion regain its prestige. Of course, your merits for Nalan Mansion will also be remembered. In the future, all the resources of Nalan Mansion will be left to you. Nalan Zhengza then sighed. To be honest, now our Nalan Mansion is in crisis. In this Yanjing city, there is a powerful force in the dark that wants to annex the four major families. Now Morong Mansion and Ouyang Mansion are gone. Our Nalan Mansion will be the next. For Nalan Mansion, are you willing to give me the things that your mom left for you to save the Nalan family? Of course we are willing. Nalan Ziyun said quickly. We are the people of Nalan family. We have the blood of Nalan family. The honor and disgrace of Nalan family are related to our future. If the mom's relics can save Nalan family, I think Mom will certainly be willing in the afterlife. Sister, do you think so? Hushi smiled without saying anything. She just let him perform as he wished. Nalan Ziyun said anxiously. But father, Mom's relics are not with me. Sister is older than me. Mom had asked sister to take good care of me. I think Mom must have given the relics to sister. Sister, now that the situation is critical, you should hand over what Mom left behind. Hushi showed a timely confusion on her face. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you are saying. You said that Mom left relics, so what are the relics? Does the clothes that Mom made for us count? Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Sister, why are you still acting silly at this time? Nalan Ziyun slammed the table angrily. His face was full of anger and doubt. You're also a part of the Nalan family. Nalan family gave birth to you and give you the identity of third miss. Is it that you want to be ungrateful and disregard the life and death of father and me? Not to mention, Mom's relics also belong to me. Sister, you take possession of Mom's relics and gave them to a man who has nothing to do with our Nalan family. Are you not afraid of Mom scolding you for being unfilial and unrighteousness when you are in the afterlife? Hushi blinked, and a deep smile appeared on her face. Brother really loves to make a joke. If sister really got Mom's relics, how could I only live in a deserted place like the courtyard for more than 10 years without having enough food and clothing? Even a servant could simply whip and insult me. I wouldn't be sold to the slave market under Nalan Faishu as instruction. And I don't understand what brother is saying. You said that I gave Mom's relics to an unrelated man? Who did I give? Do you dare to say that you didn't give the best quality pill prescription to Shengdahal? Do you dare to say that you didn't give Mom's relics to Shiyu? Nalan Ziyun stared at her fiercely. He said hatefully, I'm your younger brother. Nalan Mansion is your home. We are the close kin that takes good care of you, but you gave Mom's relics to a stranger instead of us. Nalan Hushi, do you think you are right? Hushi smiled while watching Nalan Ziyun being angry. She walked in the room unintentionally. When she walked to a corner of the study room, she clearly felt a powerful enchantment. She saw Nalan Jung's nervous face. Although he tried hard to suppress it, his eyes were fixed on her as if he was afraid that she would find out something. Hushi stopped and looked at Nalan Ziyun, and she said in a grievance, Brother, I don't know what you are talking about. If you want to put the blame on me, you will always find a way. If you don't like sister, I will just go back to the courtyard. Nalan Ziyun was choked by her words. His face was red, and his eyes were full of resentment. Nalan Jungza looked at Hushi's unremarkable yellowish face coldly. His eyes were sullen and gloomy. For Nalan Hushi, he had exhausted all his patience these several days. Since Hushi stayed at Xinu House, he searched Xinu House and the courtyard at Song Mountain, but he still found nothing. Moreover, the death warriors sent out would disappear after some time. Even their shadows had disappeared. Nalan Ziyun was also trying to please Nalan Hushi in all ways. She was so cowardly and obedient previously, but now she had such an ignorant attitude. He took her to Shengdahal, but the people of Shengdahal didn't seem to know her at all. Nalan Ziyun was even humiliated several times by the people of Shengdahal. Nalan Jungza felt that this daughter seemed to need a lesson. She would be full of herself if he didn't teach her a lesson. Thinking of this, Nalan Jungza's mouth made a mocking smile. She said coldly, Hushi, you may not yet know our current situation of Nalan Mansion. Do you remember the young master of the Zhu family? Yesterday they visited and asked to set the wedding time for the previous marriage affair. And they will come to send betrothal gifts. They will marry our Nalan Mansion's daughter this month. Please go to https://www.novelupdates. cc/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Ziyun expressed his indignant expression in a timely manner and exclaimed, Father, the Zhu family is a merchant family. Fatty Zhu is even uglier. He doesn't even have the foundation establishment stage cultivation. He actually dares to marry the daughter of the Nalan family forcefully. Isn't this not taking father in his eye at all? Nalan Jungza sighed and said helplessly, Ai Ziyun, you don't know that the four major families are weak now. We Nalan family is being threatened. We are no longer the powerful family. If we can get the relics left by your mom to make Nalan family strong again, then we naturally will not be afraid of the threat and power of the Zhu family. Hushi, if we can't think of a way out, father may not even be able to protect you. For the rise and fall of the family, father can only marry you to the Zhu family. Nalan Ziyun immediately shouted anxiously, Father, how can that be? Don't you know that how many concubines does Zhu Zhongba have in his courtyard? How many girls did he robe? I even heard that he likes to torture his concubine and servant. If sister marries him, how miserable would her life be? Nalan Jungza also made a sad expression. Ziyun, dad is helpless. Do you really want me to watch the Nalan family fall? Nalan Ziyun quickly looked at Hushi. Third sister, why are you still hesitating? Is the mom's relics more important than your lifelong happiness? As long as you hand out mom's relics, how can father marry you to Zhu Zhongba, that disgusting scum? Hushi raised her eyebrows and she said with a smile, Why do I remember that the person who is going to marry Zhu Zhongba is the second sister? What does it have to do with me? Nalan Jungza was not angry, but he said meaningfully, Hushi, you maybe don't know. Your elder sister has already written a letter that she will be coming home in a few days. You know the identity of your elder sister. She is a member of the Doctors Association and also the disciple of Elder Shukong. Her position and right of speech in Nalan family are one of the highest. Even father can't disregard your sister's opinion. Fei Xue is your elder sister's blood sister again. If your second sister doesn't want to marry, the Zhu family won't force it due to your elder sister's identity. However, the marriage between Nailan family and Zhu family has decided already. For the face of both families, someone must marry the Zhu family. As such, only you can be the replacement of Fei Xue and marry. Of course, if you are willing to surrender your mom's relics, our Nailan family will be strong enough to support you all the way. By the time, why would father be afraid of the Zhu family? By the time, father will find you a good family to marry. Even if you want to marry into the royal family, it is just a piece of cake. Speaking of which, Nailan Zhengze looked at Hushi with fiery eyes, and he slowly said, Hushi, you are so smart, you should know which are more important. You should know what to choose, right? This was a direct threat. Hushi almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. I really force Nailan's father and son too much. They even stopped playing the affectionate show and threatened me directly with the marriage. If I hand over and Ling Yu as relics, everything will be fine. If I don't hand it over, I must marry Fatty Zhu. Hee. It's really interesting. Hushi seemed to inadvertently smooth her hair. She silently threw a seed of purple abyss vine into the terrifying array in the study room. The seed of purple abyss vine had not yet grown, so it didn't have any intelligent and spiritual fluctuation. It was similar to an ordinary bean, so the enchantment wouldn't respond to it certainly. There was an innocent look on her face instead. But Dad, I really don't know what relic Mom left behind. How do you let me hand it over? Nailan Zhengze and Nailan Ziyun's face suddenly turned gloomy. There was no longer the fake affection in their eyes. There was only coldness coming out from them. Since that's the case, Nailan Zhengze said slowly, since you are so stubborn, then don't blame Dad for doing nothing. The Zhu family will send someone to send the betrothal gifts in these 2 days. 7 days later, they will carry you to the sedan chair. You can only rely on and in the days to come. Do it yourself. With that said, as he was about to chase Nailan Hushi out of the study room, he suddenly heard hurried footsteps outside the door. Master, the Crown Prince is visiting us. Crown Prince. Nailan Zhengze took both Nailan Ziyun and Nailan Hushi out of the study room. Then he carefully locked the door before asking the manservant who was out of breath. Why would the Crown Prince visit our Nailan mansion? Nailan Ziyun's expression remained unchanged, and he smiled proudly. Father, have you forgotten? The Crown Prince is my second fellow apprentice at the Qixing Palace. It is normal for him to visit me. A smile appeared on Nailan Zhengze's face, just about to give Nailan Ziyun a word. As he was about to praise Nailan Ziyun, the manservant shook his head repeatedly. No, I heard that this time, the Crown Prince is here to make a propose. Propose? Nailan Zhengze and Nailan Ziyun exclaimed at the same time. Immediately, Nailan Zhengze's face quickly showed a happy smile. He already knew whom Prince Shangguanqi had come to propose for. It must be his second daughter, Nailan Fei Xue. Nailan Zhengze heard Fei Xue talk about it more than once. She had encountered the Crown Prince while traveling, and he took good care of her. His eldest daughter, Nailan Yurong, was gifted and distinguished. A prince of the Jinling kingdom wasn't worthy of her. But his younger daughter was different. If she could marry to the Crown Prince, it would be a great help to their Nailan family. Thinking of this, Nailan Zhengze's smile became gentle. Ziyun, you follow me to entertain the Crown Prince. Let the servant to prepare the spirit fruit and refreshments. Then he looked at the manservant. You immediately notify second miss, saying that the Crown Prince is here to propose. Let her dress up quickly. Don't lose her manner in front of the Crown Prince. After speaking, without even looking at Hushi, he left with Nailan Ziyun. Hushi smiled slightly. She did not care about the prince, and she walked slowly toward Xanyu house. The manservant was left standing in place, scratching his head in confusion. After a while he murmured, but the Crown Prince is proposing to Third Mississippi. Why is this related to Second Miss? After thinking for a while, the manservant hurried to the Second Miss room. Regardless of whether the master's order was right or wrong, he just had to follow it. What? You said that the Crown Prince is here to propose. Nailan Fei Xue bounced off the bed suddenly. Because she touched her wound, she grinned in pain, but the joy on her face couldn't be concealed. Mrs. Nayland was also full of smile. Are you sure that the person who came to propose is the crown prince instead of the fat pig of the Zhu family? Hey, we have reviewed and lowered the benchmark of all of our Patreon community goals. Please do check it out. The manservant hurriedly said. It is true. The crown prince even brought a few large boxes of betrothal gifts, indicating that he is here to propose. Why didn't he discuss it with me? Nayland Feishua covered her flushed face and said shyly, I'm not mentally prepared at all. Mrs. Nayland drove the manservant off, and she said with a happy face, Silly girl, he is the crown prince, and he has a lot of opportunities every day. How can he have time to discuss with you? Now that he is willing to come personally to propose, it means how important you are to him. Mother, Nayland Feishua yelled nonchalantly, then she hurriedly said, Sichin quickly, take out my set of pleated Luanfeng natural silk skirt, and that set of 8 treasure azure stone jewelry. In the main hall at this time, Nayland Ziyun and Nayland Zhengze were already warmly hosting Prince Shangguanqi. Shangguanqi held the teacup in his hand and raised his eyes to assess Nayland Mansion. Although there was a gentle smile on his face, he could not hide the arrogance and pride in his eyes. In Shangguanqi's view, he was the crown prince of Jinling Kingdom. Except for the emperor and the untouchable king of hell, the other people in Jinling Kingdom were just his subjects. It was natural for them to treat him respectfully. He could condescend himself to come personally to the Nayland Mansion to propose. The people of the Nayland Mansion were of course in fear and trepidation. But after all, Nayland Ziyun was once his fellow apprentice, so his attitude was a little more casual. Your Highness, you like my second sister. How come you don't tell me at the Breaking Spirit Mountain and Qixing Palace? I heard you and my sister know each other a long time ago. How did you two meet? Shangguanqi was taken aback. I remembered that I'm going to marry the third miss of the Nayland Mansion. Did I remember it wrongly? When did I meet Nayland Feishua? When he was about to express his doubts, he heard a maid saying, Master, Madam and second miss are here. After that, there was a gust of fragrance in the room. Immediately afterwards, Nayland Feishua elegantly came up to the main hall while Mrs. Nayland's hands. When she saw the crown prince, Nayland Feishua's face flushed. Her almond-shaped eyes were full of water. They looked shy and timid, and they seemed to contain a lot of affection. She bowed to him. Greetings to your highness. Nayland Feishua looked. Shangguanqi stared at her affectionate eyes, her bulging chest and delicate curves, and his eyes revealed a hint of amaze. Nayland Feishua had just dressed herself up for a long time, and this was the effect she wanted. At this moment, seeing the infatuation in Shangguanqi's eyes, she immediately smiled brightly. Brother Prince, it has been a long time since the last time we left Fanyan Mountain. Feishua has always missed the brother prince. If you didn't help Feishua in the Fanyan Mountain, I don't know how much hardship I have to suffer. I really didn't expect brother prince to come to our Nayland Mansion today. At the end her face was flushed, and she lowered her head shyly. The well-behaved and submissive look was completely different from her usual stubborn, willful, domineering look. Nayland Zhengze was extremely satisfied. He just wanted Hushi to replace Nayland Feishua to marry Zhu Zhongba, so that she would be tortured by Zhu Zhongba. By the time, she would know the benefits of the Nayland family. When she was desperate, Ziyun and Zhengze would help her again. He didn't have to worry about her not handing over Enlingyue's relics. It was just that the Zhu family was considered to have some power in this Yanjing city. If he exchanged Hushi for Feishua, he was afraid that the Zhu family would disagree. After all, the appearance of Hushi was really lackluster. Zhu Zhongba had always been greedy for beauty. How could he be fond of Hushi? When the time comes, if Zhu family's father and son really stirred up the trouble, they still don't know how it will end. However, it was different now. Now that the crown prince came to propose to Feishua. Even if the Zhu family was powerful, could he still compete with the crown prince? As long as the crown prince speaks, even if the Zhu family is dissatisfied, they can only submit to him. By the time, the Zhu family would have to agree with marrying Hushi. Thinking of this, Nalan Zhengzi showed a smug smile on his face. Shang Guanqi quickly recollected his thoughts from Nalan Feishua's beauty. He showed a look of doubt on his face. I come here to marry Nalan Hushi, not Nalan Feishua. Before Shang Guanqi could speak, he heard the loud noise of gongs and drums coming from far. Then he heard Zhu Yichun, the master of the Zhu family, shouting, "Be careful, the things in there are expensive. If any one of those things breaks, you can't even afford to pay with your life." As soon as Zhu Yichun, he had already led Zhu Zhongba strutting into the main hall. Without seeing for a few months, Zhu Zhongba had gained a bit of weight again, and his cultivation was still at the foundation establishment stage. On the contrary, his footsteps were light, his eyelids were swollen. He looked he had overindulged in sexual activity, especially the fat figure. The flesh on the waist and face trembled when he walked. It made people sick to look at. As soon as Zhu Yichun entered the main hall, he saw Nalan Zhengzi. He immediately laughed and said, "Brother Zhengzi, we will be a family in the future. Based on our marriage, please promote my son in the future." As he said, Zhu Yichun's gaze swept away, and he quickly saw the dressed-up Nalan Feishua. "This is the second miss of Nalan family, right? Whoa, you are really charming. You are already at the foundation establishment stage at a young age. My Chongba is really fortunate to have you to be his wife, ha ha ha." When Zhu Zhongba saw Nalan Feishua, his eyes straightened, and the saliva flowed down from the corner of his mouth. He shouted vaguely, "Sister Feishua, we will be a family from now on." "Who is a family with you?" Nalan Feishua encountered Zhu Zhongba's squinted eyes and felt disgusting. Just after shouting a word, she immediately lowered her head in a grieve. There were tears in her ears. At this time the crown prince was here. She couldn't be too gaff and left a bad impression to the crown prince. Nalan Zhengzi gave a light cough. He frowned in displeasure. "Master Zhu, please pay attention to what you say. Don't you see who is here now?" Zhu Yichun was taken aback. When he saw Shang Guanqi by the side, he immediately looked in fear and trepidation. "Greetings to the crown prince." Seeing Zhu Yichun pulling Zhu Zhongba to kneel to kowtow, Shang Guanqi showed a satisfied expression on his face. He liked to see others' respectful and fearful attitude. Zhu Yichun stood up after doing that. He rolled his eyes and immediately smiled and said, "Since the crown prince is present, that is great. Today, it is really the honor of the Zhu family for having the crown prince witnessing the marriage between my son and Nalan Mansion's second Mississippi." Before Nalan Zhengzi could say anything, Mrs. Nalan shouted immediately, "Master Zhu, we did not promise to marry Feishua to your Zhu family." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.